You think so? I get excited. That's not screaming. It's called exuberance. Shit, it's the first time you ever seen something? Yeah, we call our show Here to Party Sports. It's kind of like a mix-up of like barstool sports, but for track and field and all things kind of endurance, not mainstream.
Nice. People just have like private gyms in their house. Like,
Are you by yourself or do you live with anybody?
I'm by myself.
Lonely.
It's not that long.
Do you cry at night?
Every night.
I do too.
Only us.
Take that off the record. You feel good?
Yeah.
All right, nice.
How do you feel about the battery and everything? Check 1, 2, ABC.
How close do I have to hold this thing to have it pick me up? All right, cool.
Dude, these candy mics are pretty fire.
I think they're kaleidoscopes.
The kaleidoscopes. Yeah.
I haven't seen one of these in a while.
You ready? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Grant Fisher. And just to start out, I looked at this. I was checking out your page the other day, and you're the second person in history to have come to do a sub 350 mile, sub 13 minute 5K, and a sub 27 minute 10K. When did you know you were a savage?
I mean, I realized I had a talent for running when I was pretty young, but I didn't realize like I could actually take it to the national level and then the international level until I was like in college and then coming out of college.
Yeah.
Like, at least when I was in college, people weren't really dreaming about like doing anything on the like international stage. People just kind of wanted to be the best guy in the U.S. and that was it.
And that's changed a lot, though.
Oh, it's changed a ton. Yeah.
But when did you guys get the courage? Because, like, I was just saying this to you. If you go look from, like, the 1980s up until, like, the mid-2000s, it was all Africans. You guys weren't on the map at all. There was no medals whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, Centrowitz, Ingebrigtsen, you, Hawker, Kerr, like, everywhere. You guys are stomping the yard. When did you guys get this confidence?
I mean, for everyone, it's probably a little different, but for me, it was watching Centro. I remember watching, it was 2016, so I was coming out of my freshman year of college, and I was with my friends, and we were in a Buffalo Wild Wings watching.
Classic place.
And I was like, holy shit, the American guy, Centro, he's going to win. And he did. And before that, like, I don't think an American had won that event in like 104 years or like 108
Really?
years or something. It's been forever since an American had won that event. And I remember seeing that and thinking like, oh, maybe we can actually compete with the East African guys. And then the following Olympics, like, I was in the following Olympics and realized, hey, I'm actually not that far back from these guys. And then the last Olympics, I'm going into it thinking like I'm going to medal. Like I'm going to medal. I'm going to try to win. I'm going to medal, and that's like the big goal. But when I was in college, like people that went pro and signed a professional contract, like all you were thinking about was like, I just want to make a team. Like I want to be an Olympian. I want to try to be the best guy in the U.S. But
was it about earning a spot, making a buck, or like setting a record?
For me or for everybody?
For you.
For me, it was my main goal coming out of college was to make an Olympic team, to be an Olympian. That was like the biggest thing I could do. And then after about a year of training, I was like, oh, I'm for sure going to be able to do that. I need to like keep moving the bar a little bit. So that was the original motivator for sure.
I guess I want to talk about that arc because, like, I'll admit, dude, I was middle of the pack. Like, I wasn't a regional champion. I wasn't a state champion. I'm now a 10-time world champion. Not directly in running, but dude, I didn't know that I had like real talent until I was like 21. I went out and just ran a half marathon with no training whatsoever. Like I'd done 5Ks and stuff in high school, and then I was like, I'll go. And I won the half marathon. And I was like, okay. And for myself, like I was in New York State, which was a pretty competitive state, but at the same time, like just nobody had ever thought about this kind of stuff. Like for you, I mean, I can't even imagine being at the level that you're at right now. There had to have been a day where you were just like, I'm going to go for it. Because you had to have skipped beer. You had to have skipped late nights with girls. You had to skip so many things to eventually have the courage to say to yourself and other people, like, I'm going to make an Olympic team. Because that's a big, bold statement from being like an NCAA guy, which I know you were a savage during. But like, even to say that you're going to be an NCAA champion, there had to be a moment where you woke up and you're like, this is it. I'm going to be that guy. Like, do you know the day?
I don't know if I know the day specifically, but there was a transition in my mind going from like I think I can do this, to like, I'm going to do this, and I'm not afraid to say it to people.
Yep.
And I'm not afraid to put myself out there, and like, if I fail, I fail, whatever. But I think I have the potential to do this, and this is the only opportunity I have in my life to do something like this. So you kind of, I don't think it was like a day where it shifted, but over the course of maybe like a couple months, I started realizing, I have a gift for this. Like I really have a talent for this. I need to give it everything I got. And I think if I put my mind to the highest rung, then I think I can get there.
Do you remember 2018, I think it was, NCAA cross-country championships? You lost to a guy named Morgan?
I do. Every night I think about that.
Okay, I'm so glad that I brought this up. So now this is what I'm kind of looking for. So I was doing some research on you, and I was kind of just checking in, and I was like, everybody has a moment. Was that one of the moments?
That was for sure one of the moments. And I spent the rest of that year trying to beat that guy, Morgan.
Did you get him?
No.
Wow.
I beat him once indoor, but he beat me every other time.
Where is he now?
He's still running professionally. But over the course of time, I've been able to beat him way more than he's been able to beat me. But that was a big moment, because I was like, I wanted to win that NCAA title so bad. And if you watch the race, it comes down to a kick.
Oh, dude,
and he kind of blows me out.
It doesn't look like a blowout, but like there's a line of you guys.
Yeah.
It's like a choo-choo train, all locked up. And he's maybe 2 body lengths ahead of you.
Yeah.
It wasn't that crazy, but those seconds are so crucial.
Dude, and it's almost worse when you like lose by that margin. Like, it feels like a blowout, but like, when you look at it, it's a handful of steps. So it's one thing when you lose by like, 2 minutes, and it's like, okay, that guy was clearly better than me.
Yep.
But when you lose by like a second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, it's like, shit, I could have done so many things different that could have gotten me that 2-3 seconds. And it's brutal on the mind, but it drives you quite a bit. But when you get like beat by several minutes, it's like, oh, that guy was just better than me.
Dude, I lost the world title by 2 reps. So in our sport, we finished with 100 wall balls at the end.
Yeah.
This guy had come in, ahead of me significantly, but I had gamed it where I was like, I can get him here. I'm going to make my surge here. And I was getting him. He kept on dropping the ball. And on 98 of my reps, he walked across the finish line. And it was just one of those kind of moments where I'm just like sitting there with myself. And there's so many moments. Like if I had just stepped differently a couple times, you know what I mean? And so as like an athlete, like there are so many of these moments that shape your career. I think that being one of them. Like you're still a young guy. I mean, like I can't even imagine being able to tell the rest of the world and some like terrifically dangerous, solid male athletes around the world that you're going to go from being this college boy running on grass fields to the Olympic level. And for somebody like yourself, like where does that transition start to shape up? Like, is it in the gym? Is it in the head? Is it on the track? Like, where was it for you? You were like, I'm going to make my stand here, and this is how I'm going to make it to the Olympics.
I think it has to start in your head.
Yeah.
Because that drives everything you do. And then, there's no replacement for the work that you have to put in. There's only so far your mind can take you, but if your mind's not in it, your body won't follow no matter what.
Yep.
So, that meant, up in the miles, that meant training with people that were way better than me, guys that had won Olympic medals that I wanted to be like. So getting in and just like getting my ass kicked by those guys and slowly leveling myself up. But the mind has to come first. Like if you don't believe that it's going to work out in the end, if you don't think like that you're capable of it, it's just not going to happen. And there's so many days where like your motivation might drop a little bit. So like, I mean, there's days where I don't want to run. There's days where I'm tired. I'm sure there's days that you don't want to lift, you don't want to run, whatever. And like it's become like more of an identity thing. Like I'm not the type of person that'll skip a day or skip a rep or skip a workout or give up. We talked about this a little earlier, but like our sports are kind of similar because, you can train with other people and that can be fun and that can drive you to a bit, higher weights or a faster rep or whatever. But when it comes to time to compete, like you have to do it alone. You can't rely too much on someone else motivating you anymore. It's nice when you're neck and neck with someone and you can push and you're competitive or whatever, but like you're the one that has to do it. So I I like drawing that parallel with what you guys do. Also, one thing with your guys' sport, why don't you guys end with a run? I'd love to see you guys end with a
Sprint it
running
out.
segment. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think in my mind that would be a more interesting story because when you have all of these guys standing next to each other doing wall balls, you can't really see who and tell that well who's like kind of in the lead. We're all moving right next to each other, and it's kind of a lame ending. The Germans are pretty serious about when they set the tone for something. They're like, we'll change nothing.
Yeah.
like, all right. So be it. But like, it would be really cool to drop that ball and then all of a sudden, let's just say somebody with a great kick just makes that last move. It'd be epic. But it's a sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I think steeplechase should have a little bit higher things or something like that. Yeah. Or you know what I mean? How is it you didn't end up in the Bermuda Triangle of Boulder? Like you're out here in Utah by yourself and you're just kind of saying you have to be by yourself. I would do training out in Boulder and I went there. And honestly, I thought it was a bad training environment. It somehow destroys some of the best runners in the entire world. And I thought it was interesting when I found out that you lived out here. And I worked out with centrists before and I'd seen these guys out here, but it seems like you're solo. Like, how are you not with the pack mentality? You're a Nike runner. You've got probably more resources and more people all over the United States that want to run with you than you could imagine, but you're out here.
Yeah, I was with a big group. And I think that was really beneficial to my early development just because I was with people that were better than me, more experienced than me. I could learn.
Yeah.
And that had gotten me almost to the level that I wanted. So I had been fourth at a world championship. And in track, it's the medals define everything. You have to get a medal. Yeah. Otherwise, it's kind of a flop, which is annoying, but that's how it is. It's black and white.
Yeah. Do you have a world title yet?
I don't have a world title, no.
National titles, though?
I have national titles. Yeah.
National records?
Yeah, national records. But I really wanted to make that final leap to, get on the podium at an Olympics. And I thought I needed to just start fresh and build everything around myself and not be influenced by what other people were doing. So I wanted to come somewhere that was semi-isolated from other runners.
Yep.
And Park City was perfect for that. There were enough runners up here and people come in and out that I have, friends come in, people to train with, things to spice it up, new people to talk to, whatever. But I didn't want to be caught in the monotony and the social club sometimes that happens in these huge running meccas.
Yep.
One is in Boulder, there's another in Flagstaff. And I've gone to train in those places before and it's really fun.
Yep.
But I feel like I get sucked into doing what other people are doing and not necessarily what I need to be doing in the moment.
I totally just blew out my hip the other day doing that. There was a guy who showed up. We were down in Austin, Texas. Austin's becoming another mecca for running.
Yeah.
Maybe not the caliber, obviously, that you guys are at, but this guy I race against, he was like, hey, I'm going to do a 6 mile, pretty high up tempos. And I was like, cool. I'm not feeling great, but I'm not going to let you win. So I just jumped in and I went to war and I've been limping for 2 weeks. And I totally get it, man. It is very hard to be able to have this self-control. And then for me, I've been doing this for 15 years now. I am always kind of playing that game where you're shuffling it around. Where's the ball at? I can't always keep the intensity in the same place every single time. Sometimes I have to delay it a day or two and have to move it. And it has to be for me because at the end of the day, I'm sure you know this, it's consistency. It's not one rock star workout. It's 20 great workouts. And then all of a sudden you have the confidence and all that kind of stuff. So is that kind of what you're playing into?
Yeah, essentially, that the margins are so slim. And you know this as well. You have to push your body to the point of adaptation, but not to the point of breaking.
Yeah.
And that line is really hard to find. And sometimes the only way to find that line is to, cross it and actually get hurt, which sucks. But
gotta love it.
Once you figure out where that balance is, you can ride it really close, but you're always kind of on the verge of doing too much.
Yeah.
I think naturally, if you're able to make it to an elite international level at anything, your natural inclination is probably to push.
Yeah.
My natural inclination is to push. And so I sometimes need to remove myself from those environments where I can just get in a battle with someone in training for no reason and push and push and push and end up injured, end up overtrained. I think overtraining is a far larger concern for me than undertraining.
For sure.
Undertraining, it's not in my nature to really undertrain. I more need to hold myself back and then, really let loose at the right moments. But you can't do that 24/7 every single day. Yeah.
Underneath all this, like I've met enough champions to know that everybody has a crazy card. You seem to be a very like polite, composed person, but you're competing against so many people and you have to, at the end of the day, believe that you're better than them. Not in like a narcissistic way. You just have to own that. Otherwise you have no chance and at all.
Yeah.
And you're a national record holder. So you had to know in that moment in time at that track meet, like I just watched you at the Grand Slam and you're cruising, you're kind of throwing your hand up at the end. You crushed everybody. So what is that for you? Like, where is that thing that most people don't see? Because you got a nice smile, you seem like a polite, clean, composed guy. But there has to be something deep down inside of you that people don't know about. And you don't have to tell me everything, but I am curious. Like, how do you switch from this gear of just this really composed, polite guy to all of a sudden stepping in and being like, secretly, I'm going to fuck all of you guys up?
Yeah, I think, again, to make it to the elite level, everyone has to have that switch. And some people are always on, like they're always walking around looking at everybody like, I'm way better than you, like I'm going to crush you, you have no shot.
Yeah. But you don't have the Noah Lyles thing.
No, and Noah, like, I don't really like to play it up for the camera that much.
Yeah.
Like, I like just being me. And, when it comes down to the race, like, I know the work I've put in. And so usually going into a race, I know how I'm going to do, like, deep down.
Yeah.
And so if I've put in the work, I don't even need to, like, hype myself up before, because I already know, like, I've worked harder than all these guys.
What about those shoulder-to-shoulder moments, last 200 meters?
Yeah. You have to hate the person you're next to.
That's what I want to
like,
hear.
you just have to. Yeah, if you don't, like, even if you are friends with them, like, you have to, switch your mind into thinking, like, fuck this guy, he's not beating me. Like, there's no way he's going to get to the line before me.
Yep.
And I'm going to give everything to get there. And sometimes, your body just shuts down and you don't end up getting there. But, sometimes you get a little bit extra out of yourself that you didn't think was there.
Yep.
There's always a little bit of doubt in the back of your mind, like, no matter what. Like, even if I'm super confident going into a race, like, if I do it right, if I'm shooting for a high enough goal, there's a little bit of doubt. Because, that's the proper goal. Yeah, I'm pushing myself. And so when you get to the last 100 meters, the last 200 meters, and you're next to someone, you can't give them an inch. And you can't think, like, for a second that you can relax or you can't push or it's going to be easy, because it's going to be hard every single time and they're going to make you work. But sometimes you can break people mentally before they break physically, and that's a little nicer, because then you don't have to really give it all the way to the line.
I'm interested about that, because you don't seem to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I haven't done enough research, but you don't seem to be a kicker. You seem to be kind of a front runner, a tough guy. Like, I've just seen some stuff on you, but is that your style? Like, are you just like, I'm so conditioned? Because you hold the national record. That means physiologically you have more of an engine than everybody else on the right day. But then there's racing, which is a totally another dynamic. So you going to let this guy trail you? Are you just going to crush him? Like, do you know every single race what your game plan is?
I have a plan going into every race. It doesn't always work to plan, or you have to adapt a little bit. But you're right. Like, from a pretty early age in my running career, I realized, like, my talent is holding a really hot pace for a really long time.
Yeah.
And some people's talent is being able to kick at the end.
Yeah.
And they're not as good at holding the hot pace for the whole time. But if they're around with a lap to go, they're really dangerous. My talent is just to squeeze people. And so that's what I have to lean into. Like, obviously I work on the kick and I make that as good as I can.
Yeah.
But I lean into my strength. And, if I can go into a race and I know my strength, everyone else knows my strength too. So if they're a little nervous that I'm going to squeeze them early, or if I'm going to go with a mile to go or 2 miles to go, which one is it going to be? Like, I can dictate the race. And when I can dictate the race, everyone else becomes a passenger to it.
Yep.
And now if they can survive the hot pace, if I go early, they might have a pretty good shot at the end because of a kick, and because it is harder to lead than it is to follow. But I think I can get rid of a lot of those kickers often if I squeeze early.
So I'm curious about this. I've said this, that Hawker has literally gotten away with a magical year because people like you are not just cooking them from the front. Because what's your PR in the 5K?
12:44.
12:44. Has he broken 13 yet?
Yeah.
Okay. By how close is he though?
He's run, I think, 12:57.
That's a pretty good gap.
Yeah.
That's a sizable gap. I mean, that's the last 100 meters. So, out of curiosity, I know not every day is going to be that 12:44, but like, why doesn't somebody like you just go and just be like, oh yeah, mile out, I'm going to hurt you guys and give him no chance? Because if you get him within like 200 to 300 meters, he's going to close. Not always guarantee the win, but like, why does somebody like you not execute like that? Why don't you just always go for that last mile? Because it's not always there, or because you're just playing the game with everybody else that day?
Well, two reasons. One reason is that it's way easier to run fast when you have a rabbit.
Yeah.
When you have someone pacing you. So when I ran 12:44, it was with a rabbit.
Yeah.
But in the World Championship final, I tried to squeeze early. I actually started, 2.5 miles out and started squeezing. I just ran out of gas. I cooked myself in the process.
Happens.
There have been other races with Cole where I've squeezed early and it's worked.
Yep.
And his kick is kind of dampered. Like it's not as good at the end because I've squeezed pretty hard.
Get that juice.
But the risk to being a front runner and pushing from a long way out is you're kind of putting your neck on the line. It's harder to break the wind at the front, just like cycling, not to the same extent, but harder to break the wind. Mentally, it's a little tougher, and it's a lot easier to kind of be the hunter than the hunted.
Yep.
So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. At the World Championship, I tried, and I was too tired. Yeah.
It's interesting though. I mean, like, you have that talent, and it's like that's there. Now that you know, I guess that's kind of the next piece that I'm curious about. It's like, now that you know these things and you've applied it in races, and it doesn't always pan out. Like, you've had a pretty crazy season. You're all over the place, all over the world, things like that. Where does somebody like you with your level of talent go next? Because you know you have the talent to be a podium guy at the Olympics or a world level. How do you now all of a sudden adjust the training? Like, do you just like sit down with your coach or with yourself and be like, is it mileage? Is it more the data with the watch and the lactate testing? Like, where, like, at the end of my season, I knew immediately when I lost those 4 seconds, like on the race, I was like, yep, I have to do these two things. And that's all I do now. I mean, I do a lot of other stuff, but I'm saying like the real work goes into those two things. Where does somebody like you, after stepping away from the end of the season, obviously you did tremendously well for what you did, how do you make that decision?
Yeah, it comes down to a lot of factors. So in track, like the whole season is kind of defined by how you do at a World Championship or an Olympic Games. And so last year was a World Championship, and I didn't do as well as I hoped. The rest of the year was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I set a bunch of PRs. I won a handful of races. I ran really well. But at the very end, the one that counted the most, I was too tired.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, before I forget, so why does somebody, when you know that, like, eventually I had to just trim the fat on all the other things that I like to do because it just had started to get so serious and important at the world level. Why do you even bother with going to things like Grand Slam and Diamond League? Are you like trying to gain points? Are you trying to test methods? Or are you just like pick up the cash where it lies?
Combination. So part of it is, it's not that fun to just sit around and race once a year.
Yeah.
It's way more fun to race like 10 times a year.
For sure.
So you've got all these other opportunities, but to truly peak and be at your best at this one race, those other things do cut into it a little bit.
For sure.
So I bit off more than I could chew last year and thought I'd be able to manage, all these races throughout the year and still be at my best at the end. And that, turned out not to be the case. So going into next year, I'll be a lot more intentional about which races I do and how I structure it out. There's no World Championship or Olympic Games next year, so there really isn't that one main thing to peak for.
Why?
Track, for some reason, has off years where there's no global championship every so often. So usually the rhythm, it'll go World Championship, then the next year it'll be an Olympics, then a World Championship, and then an off year.
Okay.
Where there's no championship. So Worlds are every 2 years, Olympics are every 4, and that leaves an off year every once in a while.
So how does that work then? Do you just like say for yourself, like, screw it, I'm gonna go set the 2 mile record? Like, do you just like say to yourself, you're like, I want to do something a little bit different? Or are you looking like 4 years out, like 2028, I have to win the Olympic gold?
I mean, 2028 is the big picture, like, main goal.
Yeah.
But to truly like only focus on that for the next 3 years is like just kind of
daunting.
Yeah, it's daunting. So you have little targets on the way. So next year, I'll probably try some new events. Think about hopping in a half marathon. I've never done one before. So
Shit.
you've got a better half marathon time than me right now.
Probably not.
And well, I've never run one.
Okay, well,
I've never run one before.
You might have just done it by accident one time and probably smoked my time.
So yeah, I'll switch things up a little bit. Like the training, like this is the year to experiment a little bit. My main mistake last year, I guess technically this year in 2025, was just biting off more than I could chew in the racing, and then the training had to prepare me for those races. So I was training at a really, really high level from about November to September.
Yeah.
And that's way, way longer than I usually go of like intensity. Usually it's way more of short little cycles.
Yeah. I have to play games with myself, dude.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. Like I was talking to Max about this earlier. It's like I'm currently at the point in time of the year where I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend the next couple months just going around my town to mountains. And they're not huge mountains. And I'm just like, okay, this is like a 20-minute climb. This is a 40-minute climb. And I'm going to see how well I do. I don't kill myself, but it's just this game. Like obviously it's something that's far different from what I really do. I just center in on that. And then at the end of the next like 2 months, I kind of just reevaluate and switch the goals a little bit. And then I only really focus on like super, super hard on the goal for myself for the last 3 months. Everything else is kind of like, it's like 60-40 throughout the whole season. Then it goes like 90-10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like, there's a lot of races. I'm sure there's a lot of competitions out there that you'd love to do that look really fun or, would be a nice payday or whatever.
Yeah.
And, I this is obvious in hindsight, but you can't do them all. Like you can't be at your best for this race and this race and this race and this race, and the list goes on. Like you're not actually going to be at your best for all of those. And at some point, things are going to break down, whether like it's your body breaking down or mentally you're just exhausted or whatever. Like it's just, you can't do that.
Yep.
So like you said, you got to pick and choose and figure out that target. And, for me on an off year where there's no global championship, it's finding a new target. Like what's going to matter to me next year? Is it, setting a world record? Is it breaking an American record? Is it trying to win all of these diamond leagues? Is it trying to, do all these other things? You got to piece it together, but you have to like limit it enough that you can actually physically, feasibly be at your best for those opportunities.
Do you ever get the feeling like you're missing out on life a little bit?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But that's because I'm all in on this thing. Like if I was living life like my friends are that aren't pro runners, then I wouldn't be giving everything to the sport right now, and I'd be leaving something on the table. And because of that, I don't really see those things as sacrifices in my mind. They're just like they're just necessary pieces to get me to where I want to be.
Yeah. And
where I want to be is to be the best in the world. And when my body falls apart, which it will eventually, and there'll be new younger guys to take my place, then I can go be a normal guy.
Yeah.
But for right now, like, there's times where I have to, miss out on the bachelor party or miss out on, this big weekend because I have the Olympic trials next week.
Yeah.
There's things like that, but they don't even feel like traditional sacrifices in my mind. They're just like pieces of the puzzle that, like you're not giving something up and getting nothing in return. I'm skipping out on something, but I'm getting something great in return. Or I'm hoping to get something great in return.
Do you though, like, how do you let loose? Like sometimes, it's just like you become like a beer can that's been shaken up and it's just like ready to pop. Like, do you have like a let off valve? Like, I don't know if you remember, there was a study basically about this guy. I think he was a 110 meter hurdle world champion. Then he was like, man, if I just clean up my act and stop drinking beers, like I probably could get the world record. Was clean the whole next year, didn't even make it to finals. And then he went back and did really well once he had kind of brought the partying back in. Like, where for you are you able to find that center? Because you live up in Park City by yourself. Like, it sounds like you have a girlfriend. That's great that you have like a partner in crime in this thing. But do you just like wake up some days and you'd be like, holy shit, I'm going to lose my mind?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, sometimes it's like you're living too much like a monk.
Yeah.
Like it's a little too much. And so those are moments where you go out with friends, like have a few drinks, whatever, and like get that out of your system and it's fun. but I couldn't do that every day.
No,
if that makes
obviously.
sense. So like the guy that is out drinking or like out hanging out with his friends, he's probably found a pretty good balance for himself.
Yep.
That like what he's doing is not detrimental enough to what he's training for. Like obviously drinking is not beneficial for training, but maybe mentally it just like keeps him fresh, keeps him sharp, keeps him from going stir crazy. And then he can actually put out the necessary effort in training because he's fulfilled, he's having a good time.
Sometimes
so
I
there's a
love
balance.
Yeah. Sometimes I love to get my hand on those bubble boys, the guys that have not done anything all season except for train. And I just know I just got to go, boop, pop the bubble. And like if you don't have it, you're easy to break, dude. You're fragile. You're sharp like a piece of glass, but you're fragile like a piece of glass. And often, like I'm always trying to wonder when I meet somebody of your caliber, I'm like, what's the thing? What's the thing that lets you just keep on showing up? Because everyone has one. It may be different from the next person's, but it's like, you might just play golf and not tell anybody this, but you're like, I play golf every Sunday, put my phone down, don't talk to anybody, and that's like my thing. And every single person just has something that's a little bit odd, like it could just be into painting or whittling or something like that. For me, it's probably not best for the podcast, but I party hard as I possibly can, like once every 3 months to the point where like I am down to a single cell organism, and then I have to rebuild myself back up, and it is the best. And I'm like, oh, God, that hurts so bad. But then all of a sudden I wake up the next day and I'm like, I hate that version of myself. I'm not going to do that again. This hangover sucks. And then all of a sudden you're like, just run that beer out your system.
Yeah, I think like finding whatever that is for you is important. Like, I don't think it's like people use the word balance a lot, like maybe work-life balance, or like for us, it would be like a balance outside of the sport. And I think they're to really like, it's tough. It's tough to like feel like I'm giving advice on this topic because what's good for me isn't good for everybody.
No.
And also like the level that I'm trying to be at is not the same as someone that jogs on the weekend.
For sure.
So for me, like getting away from the sport in general helps a lot. So that kind of goes back to living up in the mountains in Park City. Like I'm not surrounded by the sport 24/7. I go completely crazy when I'm surrounded by runners because it's just like, everyone's tense. Everyone wants to know what everyone's doing. Like everyone's comparing each other. Like everyone's in on the gossip, whatever the drama is. And I like being just removed from that because otherwise I do kind of just like, I blow up and I'm like, I don't want to be around the sport anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like too much. So being up in the mountains by myself, like if I'm ever feeling that way, I'll just like, get far away from social media, go off on a hike in the mountains, like do something different. Switch to sport. I've been riding a bike a lot more lately. Go for a bike ride.
Let's go, bro.
Just get away from the sport for a bit. Then I'm excited to come back
For sure.
and be in it. It's kind of like how I approach the off season. Like when I'm at the end of the season, I don't want anything to do with running anymore. I go off and do everything else that I wanted to do while I was running that I didn't do. And then by the end of it, I'm like begging to be back and begging to be locked in again. And I'm wanting
you need to have
again.
that center again.
Yeah.
Clean eating and just like everything being a little bit more organized. I can't, like I get away for a while and let myself just get all frazzled up. And then all of a sudden I'm begging to weigh my food again, anything to have that centralized focus and just be like, God, it's kind of safe and nice here. I go for the chaos because I want the chaos, but in the end of the day, like I feel just best when it's all organized.
Yeah.
So I do want to get into like the nitty gritty. Like I think, obviously it's been fun to kind of pick apart things of just like how you think and like what you're doing and how you assemble this lifestyle as an athlete. But I think so many people are always just curious, like what's a freak like you do? Like what is your mileage? Like how do you assemble the mileage? How do you make sure that somebody like yourself, like I'll give you an example. Like are you like a total whore for Strava?
I recently got a Strava.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun.
It's addicting.
Yeah.
See? But it's an online profile where it's like, dude, I can see everything I've done for years. And like I'm such a data freak. Like I want to know, I want to look at my watch, I want to see what I did during my sleep, I want to see what I did during this. I don't make it like something that owns me, but I definitely love the data. Like how did it all start for you? Like did you have a notepad when you were like 10 years old getting started? Or is this something where you're just like, I don't know, you're just a free spirit and you just go out and run until all of a sudden you're tired?
I think it started with just enjoying running, like the feeling of it. But yeah, once I got more serious about it, it was pen and paper, kind of a journal basically of like, this is what I did today. This is what I did the next day. And then, when you're in high school, you do your big race at regionals or whatever, and you can look back and go, oh, look at all this training I've done.
Yeah.
I'm pretty prepared, whatever. And as I got more through high school, my coach and I started using blood lactate testing.
So you've been doing that a long time.
Yeah, since high school. So that was when I first got into like real numbers related to my training. Real like fitness trackers weren't really a thing at all.
Yeah.
There were some like GPS watches, but they're pretty rudimentary, and nobody really used them for anything more than like, what pace am I going on this run? Nobody really wore them 24/7 like they do now. And I really enjoyed that blood lactate stuff because I had a number to tell me like, how hard am I going? How easy am I going?
Yeah.
How much easier is this same pace today than it was a month ago?
Yeah.
And
so make this simple on people. So like the people who are just stupid, including myself, play like I'm an idiot. So are you looking at like the 2 millimoles, the 3 millimoles? You're looking for a certain amount of lactic acid inside your blood as a stimulus so that you can run. Like explain that to somebody who's just like, yeah, this is how I use it.
All right. So the science behind it, like lactate production, is kind of complicated, but roughly what you're trying to test for when you test your blood is how hard am I going and what energy sources am I using to create, motion.
Yeah.
So when I run, if I'm going super easy, that would be aerobic running. And you're using a ton of oxygen, you're breathing, your body is making energy aerobically, and your lactate should be pretty low. As you go harder and harder, that amount of lactate your body's producing starts to go up because your body starts producing energy anaerobically, so without oxygen.
Yeah.
And as your body does that more and more, a byproduct of that chemical reaction is lactate. So measuring the lactate is like one layer removed from what you actually care about, and that's energy production. Yep. And so when people are talking about zones or being aerobic or tempo or threshold, they're roughly talking about that energy production system and where you are on the scale of it.
Yep.
And for distance running, it's really beneficial to be below what people call your threshold. And
is that 3 millimoles?
It depends on who you ask. And
why is it so confusing?
It becomes like really complicated because some people say, you have an LT1 and LT2, you have, your threshold, you have the MLSS, I think some people call it, all these different names for roughly the same idea. And that's like, are you producing most of your energy aerobically?
Yep.
And that means you can do it for a pretty long time. But when you start producing energy anaerobically, your body makes more lactate, and it also makes these hydrogen ions that create that muscle burn that you're used to.
Yep.
So it's often not that lactate that you feel when your muscles are burning at the end of a rep or a workout. It's the like pH of your muscles basically from these ions.
Yep.
And so I try to avoid that as much as possible because that's really detrimental to your muscles.
So you keep it low all the time?
Not all the time. You have to raise it above that on occasion.
Yeah.
But most of the stuff I do is low on that curve. And a lot of people will say your threshold is at like 3 millimoles of lactate or 4 millimoles of lactate.
Yep.
So you kind of stay like just below those numbers.
Like 2.8.
2.8, perfect.
I like that number.
Yeah.
Okay, so where's the magic here? Like how many miles you get in a week? Like is it all running? Are you a power lifter on the side? Like where's the magic here? Because you have everyone's doing a lot. Like everyone seems to be doing the same thing, but you're doing it better. Like would you say there's one thing you're just like, besides that, you're like, man, I'm doing like 100 miles a week at like a 9-minute mile.
So yeah, I'm running about 100 miles a week. I'd say I average more like 6-minute to 7-minute miles in there. And like I'm working out anywhere. Sorry, in track, working out means like running intervals.
Yeah.
So I'm working out anywhere from 5 to 6 times a week, which is a higher frequency than most people do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm usually doing 3 doubles days or 2 doubles and a single.
Okay, so your base mileage, let's just say you're going out for like a 10 or a 6:45 pace.
Yeah.
When you're going to work now, just to give somebody a semblance of understanding the difference of it all, what's the hard workout look like? So if this is like a 6:45 for 10 miles, what are you doing, like 5 by 1,000 at like a 4 flat pace?
So like on an easy day, if I'm running 10 miles easy, Yeah, that might be like 6:45 pace. My lactate should be somewhere around like 1-ish.
And it's just so easy for you.
And the heart rate will probably be like 110 to 125.
Wild.
So that would be like my recovery easy run.
Yep.
And then for the workouts, like a traditional threshold workout might be something like 3 times 2 miles at like 4:30 to 4:40 pace, mile pace.
And that's still not that stressful for you.
And that would be a threshold session where you're supposed to be like below that lactate threshold.
Yeah.
And then for the super, super hard sessions, I might do something like quarters, like 400 meter reps off of 30-second rest. And I'd run those at about like 57 to 58 seconds per quarter.
And how often are you doing that?
Not super frequently. That's more like race prep stuff.
Yeah.
The threshold sessions, they're nice. One other reason why staying down on that threshold curve is really nice is you can repeat it over and over and over, and you don't have to rest that much after.
Yep.
The really intense stuff, like that 400 meter workout,
rips you up.
You're destroyed for a little bit, and like, you know, you can't really go hard again for 2-3 days.
Yep.
But those threshold sessions, I can do one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and I'm good. And I can get a ton of really good volume at a fast pace. Like on those days, I can get a good like 12 to 13, 14 miles of really, really hard running at like 4:30 pace.
Yeah.
And maybe like 22 miles total on the day. Jesus. If you include the warm up and cool down. So you just can you can amass so much really good training at a fast pace, but not destroy your body so that you have to take a ton of rest after.
Does it ever tear you up that like you're one of the freakiest athletes in the entire world, but no offense, you don't look like an athlete? Someone's like, "Oh, you're an athlete?" Did it ever mess with you?
I mean, sometimes, like, you know, you think about basketball or something. Like,
Yeah.
you can tell that someone's a basketball player.
For sure.
You can tell someone's in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, if you
Football player,
doesn't
basketball
matter.
player.
Yeah, you could see someone on the street. If they're in the NBA, everyone should be able to tell that by looking at them.
Yeah.
A distance runner, like, you know, there's not many like show muscles involved.
No.
You know, we're kind of just like the cross country like high school nerds that just never gave it up.
Dude.
And so, yeah, you don't really look like that sick, you know, when you're walking around.
Well, just the workouts you were just describing, those are like godlike performances. And I always think about that when I meet somebody like you. I'm like, nobody knows that there's somebody in the room right now who is just so insanely above the rest of the world. And I wonder if that messes with you. Like when I was standing next to that Leo guy from the world champion just recently in decathlon, I did not look like an athlete next to him. I looked like somebody who played on lifted weights and did Peloton a couple times a week. This guy looked like a Viking. And I always just wonder, like, I mean, for me, obviously, I love to say that there's nothing sexier than being a world champion, but I would have a hard time, I think, getting into your world of just running. In that note, though, how important is like body fat, all this other stuff for you? Like, are you one of these kind of guys that's just like constantly scanning his body fat, trying to lose weight? Like, how do you handle that side of training?
Yeah, that's kind of like, there's two approaches to it. There's one where you're, you know, hyper focused on everything. You're trying to trim the fat on everything. You're trying to like be as light as possible.
Yeah.
And the other approach is like, I'm training so much, I just need to eat a shit ton of food, and my body will naturally find kind of a balance point.
What's a shit ton of food, though? Because you're eating chocolate right now. We're doing this thing. You're eating chocolate. I'm glad that you are, because honestly, it's like, we got you the chocolate, but at the same time, some people are so scared to just be able to be like, I'm going to eat chocolate right now because I have 20 miles to run tomorrow. Like, what is that for you?
Yeah, I think like, you know, my metabolism is so high and I train so much that like, I'm way more concerned about under eating than overeating.
Yeah.
Like I'm way more concerned about getting too light and injury prone. Like, you know, if I got too light, my body would start drawing resources from my bones and my muscles, and I just get super injury prone. And you see that a lot on younger runners that are kind of inexperienced, that think like, you know, if I'm a pound lighter, that's a pound less that I have to carry over a 10K.
Yeah.
And that is true, but it comes at a cost.
Could be a weak pound.
Totally.
Just totally pull out the horsepower.
Totally, yeah. So you have to be really careful with that. And I think the past like 2-3 years, especially in the running community, people have rebranded sugar as carbs.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing because it's true. Like your main source in these races are carbs, your main fuel source. And so you need a lot of that, and you need to take that in during the race a lot of the time for longer stuff. So people are having their carb drinks, which is just sugar.
That's what I said, dude. Sugar's a superfood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
What are you guys doing?
If you limit in distance or in endurance anything, I think you limit your sugar, you limit your performance. Like if you've done any endurance sport, you've felt the bonk before, and it's a horrible feeling, and you can delay that or prevent it altogether if you fuel properly. And people are taking it a lot more seriously now. And I'm eating some candy right now. Like candy's great. I mean, the difference between a sports drink and a bunch of candy isn't that significant.
Dude, you're better off walking around with a gallon of orange juice than a thing of water. Like if you're a real freak athlete, like people get so confused when I go to the gas station, I walk out with like 3 to 4 sugary drinks. And like I love supplements, don't get me wrong, but supplements first, and if I don't have that, I'm going straight to the sugary drink section. Like just pound it down and make sure that you have fuel for your workout.
Yeah, and things like that, like I don't know, having like ice cream at night, whatever, like I would much, much rather take in like junk food than be at a deficit.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to lose weight. Some people run to lose weight. That's not what I do it for. And that's not even like on my radar wanting to lose weight. Like I want to maintain weight, and I have to be pretty intentional to keep that up because I train so much that if I don't fuel enough, I will lose weight unintentionally and then become kind of injury prone and lose a bunch of power. So like, I think it's changed a lot. Like definitely in the marathon world, people are embracing like you need to take in carbs during the race.
Yeah, you don't have time.
My races are too short, really. I'll move to the marathon eventually and have to do that. But just in general life, like my fueling 24/7, I need to have enough. Like I want it to be good stuff mostly, but if the decision is like eating a bunch of like Doritos versus being at a deficit, I'll take the Doritos every single time.
Yeah. Do you ever mess around with supplements? Like if you one of the things that I am starting to use more frequently is sodium bicarbonate. And it's a risk. Like you're a riverboat gambler. You have just enough, you are a rocket ship. You have too much, you can do it the wrong way, you shit your pants. Like, what's your thing? Like beta alanine, fish oil, like what do you do?
So I started the bicarb thing this past year.
Morton?
Yeah. Not sponsored by them, so if they want to sponsor me, let me know.
Let's go, guys. Dude, you should look up the feed. Like they're awesome. I'll introduce you to them because it's a crazy expensive product. Valuable though, but they give it to me. Otherwise, I'd have a grudge. I'd be like, I'm spending $70 on this shit.
Yeah, I mean the thing is like I think it's pretty effective. I think especially for the shorter events, I think it's really effective.
For sure, dude.
Things where you need to be explosive, things where like you need to like push a ton of power in a short amount of time, I think it's really effective. For really long stuff, I'm not really sure how well it would work. And the longer stuff you do also, you risk that like the GI distress. Like and I've experimented with Morton before where like you do it in training and you get the dosage wrong and like you're running to the bathroom like and you're stuck on the bathroom, you're not getting off.
No.
And
are you at the 25 milligram yet? Or 25 gram serving yet?
I'm not there yet.
Let's go, boy.
I'm like half your size.
Come on, dude. Go for it. I want to see you get that gold.
But like that type of stuff, like, it's baking soda, like everyone is okay with taking baking soda.
Yeah.
So, I'm okay taking it. There's a ton of stuff that's a little more sketchy out there where like I get drug tested all the time, which I think is a good thing. But I have to be careful. There's tons of cases where, people test positive and then say, oh, it's contamination from a supplement. And it's impossible to really know as an outsider to know if they're telling the truth or not. I'm going to call BS, dude. but it still scares you, It's like, I don't want to be ordering stuff off Amazon and taking it because, there's some good things on Amazon, but like, you know what I mean? Getting like sketchy stuff, like you just never know what's in it. So you got to be a little careful.
I own a supplement company and I go to the manufacturers that make our stuff and it's like crazy how focused these people are and how separate everything is and like how seriously they take it. Now, I didn't want to get into this conversation because it would just take us off true north, but there's not some big bad wolf in the room just pouring drugs into it, just like, oh, we have these extra free drugs around. We might as well pour it into this guy's electrolyte powder. Like, And listen, man, like I know people make mistakes and I know that sometimes there's these freak accidents, but like from the world that I come from, people get caught all the time and they're like, I ate bad horse meat. I'm like, well, first of all, why are you eating horse meat? Second of all, that's a lie. Like, and you hear these people say these things and you're like, man, and I respect it, man. Like you're at such a high level that you're getting tested all the time. You have to be really, really careful because imagine that mistake did come up and your whole career is tattered from something that makes no sense. Like how could this have even gotten in my system? But I guess au naturel. Altitude. You're obviously up here. Like, would you say like that is for sure the gold standard endurance running, or is it still one of these kind of things where you're like, I like it and I could give it up? Or like, how does that sit in your world?
For me, I respond really well to it, so I like it, and that's why I moved up here.
Live high, train low?
Live high, train low, yeah.
And you're coming down here into the valley?
Yeah.
Shit, dude, I used to be doing that.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, it is tough, but it makes a big difference, I think. And, there's some people, I used to run for a big Nike club, and we would come up to Park City sometimes. And, you would check your like blood values. One of the main reasons to come up is to raise your red blood cell count.
Yeah. So you're doing like hematocrit measurements and everything.
Yeah.
Did you have like a doctor? Or are you doing this by yourself?
Well, we would, to get a hematocrit reading, you just go to like a LabCorp and you just get a blood draw and they can tell you your hematocrit.
Yeah.
So if any random person got a blood draw and they got a CBC, a complete blood count, they would be able to tell. So we would do that. And there were some people that responded like huge, like they had multiple percentage points of gain from going to altitude, and some people got nothing.
Really?
And it was, hard to predict who would respond and who wouldn't, but I would get really, really big responses from being up here. So for some reason, my body, when I got into a low altitude or low oxygen situation, my body made more red blood cells, which is great. For the people that didn't, it kind of sucked because they came up here. It's harder to train, harder to breathe, and they got nothing out of it.
Yeah.
So I think the people in those cases, like they'll often stay at sea level and say, I'd rather have high intensity and be able to recover super well at sea level than go to altitude, get no hematocrit boost, and have to train a little slower because I'm at altitude, work a little harder for the same easy runs. Like it's not worth it for me.
I chill at 5,000 feet. I'm not good at 7. So like I have a cabin at 5,000. I'll go up and do some of my long runs up like, and like Big Bear just to stress myself out a little bit more. But I can't recover. If I stay up at 7,000 feet and just keep on training, like it just bangs me up.
Yeah.
I can, like in our sport, I think we do a little bit more intensity than you guys do just because the nature of what we do, it's just a lot more impact on the body. So I don't know. I try not to mess around with it.
Yeah, it's different for everyone, man. Like I can recover fine at 8,000 feet. I had to build my way up to that. But like even at night now, I sleep with an altitude machine, and I'll sleep at about like 10,000 feet.
You're in a tent now?
I have my whole room at altitude. Even though I live at 7,000 feet, I sleep at 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm in a tent.
Really?
Do you have a chili pad or anything like that?
No. But my whole room is altitude, not just the tent.
So how are you doing that?
So I like kind of seal the room off, and then I have an altitude machine in the hallway, and then I run the hose under the door, and then it brings the whole room up.
That is wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm living in this thing called box altitude, and it gets so hot in there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a coffin. And
Yeah.
I have this chili pad thing that's ice cold, but if you reach your hand into this box, like it's got to be like 85 degrees in there. So luckily there's this thing that keeps me ice cold, but like it sucked when I first got it because I didn't have all the resources. But it does make a big difference. But I'm slowly building up. Right now I'm at 6,000 feet. Probably before I leave for championships, I'll be up like 7,500. But still, like 10,000 for me, like I did it. I messed around. I was like, fuck it, dude. You never know unless you dive off the deep end. And it messed me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't pronounce.
Yeah, I mean, it inhibits your recovery naturally. So you're kind of finding a fine line because that's stressing your body out.
Yep.
Like you're trying to convince your body basically that there's no oxygen here. You need to make more red blood cells. And that is like the legal way to do it. There's illegal ways to do it, but like the legal way is to be at altitude.
Yep.
And it's stressful on your body. Like you're depriving it of oxygen. So again, you're finding a sweet spot where like you're still recovering, but you're stressing your body out enough to adapt, and you got to kind of find that sweet spot. But for me, like, yeah, one of the issues with the tents is they get so hot. So that's why I just put my whole room up. Yeah.
Do you do any other nerdy stuff like hyperbaric chambers, ice baths, any of this kind of stuff? Like, I'm sure everybody's asking these questions, but like, what's the secret sauce?
Secret sauce.
Come on, tell me.
I do use a sauna quite a bit, especially in the summertime leading into a hot race.
Heat training?
Yes, heat training and sauna.
But do you like put the like whole core outfit on and like do like the real heat training and measure it?
I have a treadmill room in my house, and I'll close all the doors, close all the windows, shut off all the AC, and I'll run and I'll try to get the temperature in there up to like 85 to 90.
Yeah.
Start with just easy runs and then include some workouts as well. And for the easy runs, I'll put on a bunch of layers or whatever.
Crazy
and
person.
it sucks. Like it sucks. But again,
But you think it makes a difference?
Yeah, you're trying to like, especially I'm leading into a race where it's going to be really hot.
Yeah.
Like your body adapts to and becomes good at what you expose it to. So, I mean, for you, if you're doing the ski erg, like you're going to get really good at the ski erg, but if you never run, you're going to be shit at running.
Yeah.
Like, even though your endurance is there, like you still need to do it. So for me, like if I'm going to be in a hot race, I need to train in a hot environment, actually a hotter environment.
Yeah. I got to go do some heat because I'm going to Melbourne, and this time of year, it is crazy hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of just reminded me of that.
Yeah. So that and sauna stuff. So like go for a run and then immediately hop in the sauna.
Yeah.
While your like core temperature is already elevated, and that it sucks in the summertime. It's nice in the winter because it's like cold out. You hop in the sauna, it's all nice. But like in the summer, it's already 80, 85 degrees, and then you hop in the sauna, and it can be it can suck. Yeah.
So how do you assemble all these ideas together? Are you a one-man team? You have a coach? Do you have like a whole list of mentors? Like, how do you assemble it? Because that's a lot of pressure on somebody of your caliber.
I've got a team around me, but I purposely put myself at the center of it. So, there's my coach, there's my strength coach, there's my physios, whatever. But I like to filter all of the information and then make the final decision. And I like looking at all the data. Like some people just want, hey, coach, tell me what to do today and I'll do it. And then tomorrow, hey, coach, tell me what to do today and I'll do it. Like I like to see the big picture. I like to see the science. I like to read the research articles and see the literature on why does this work. And if I'm fully convinced that something is going to work, then I'm way more prone to stick to it and way more prone to do it properly and believe way more in it when it comes to race, rather than just like, I'm just doing this because coach said so. Yeah. I just don't operate that well. And some people do. Some people just like, just want to hear the instructions and execute. But I do better when I believe in the whole package. And I'm probably more involved in that process than most runners, but I just like, that's just how my brain works. Like I like having that data. I like sifting through it and making those decisions.
Well, it's been interesting interviewing you because honestly, like I was waiting for you to crack and find this like little extra thing. I wanted to see your eyes twitch or something like that. I'm like, where's the evil in this dude? Yeah. But you seem to have like a really evenly distributed composure, which is odd. No offense. It's just like usually when I get towards champions, you can see something that makes them want to go so hard. And maybe there is something I haven't figured out this interview, but I'll get you eventually.
Yeah, maybe eventually.
Yeah.
I think in general, like if you look at longer endurance sports, you get more even keel personalities that make it to the top.
Yeah.
The more like sharp, like up and down personalities that really switch it on, then really switch it off, do much better the shorter the event is.
Yeah.
But the longer the event, like you're rewarded by doing the same monotonous thing over and over and over
and being relaxed while doing it.
And not overthinking it and just chilling. Yeah. And that personality, I think, lends well to distance running.
Well, in closing, I would like to ask, and I want you to be honest. Don't try to either impress me or don't hide it because you don't want to say it. What are your biggest goals? Like, what are your really behind the scenes, what you write in a notepad, maybe you not even tell your girlfriend? What are your biggest goals? And like, is there anybody you want to stick it to? Is there anything that you like really are just like, there's somebody I'm thinking about right now for myself. And if he was here, I'd say it to his face. What are going to be your goals for the next like year? And also just like, how do you want to finish it out?
The main goal is to be the best in the world, for sure.
What does that mean, though?
And that
Olympic champion?
That means Olympic champion, world champion. The Olympics is bigger than worlds in our sport. So, like, being Olympic champion in 2028 would be the biggest thing I could do. And so
5,000, 10,000?
10,000 maybe,
double?
maybe marathon.
Lasse Viren?
Maybe marathon.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm thinking about dabbling in the roads this year, and then maybe we'll have moved up to the marathon by 28. But like the Olympics in your home country, most people don't have that opportunity in their career. So that is my main focus, is like Olympic champion. But it's way easier to say that than to do that. But I've been to that level before, and on a podium twice, and like I know what it takes. So I'm not like, I think there's sometimes people just say big goals because they think it sounds cool, but when you really know what it takes, like I know what it means, and I know what it will require to become an Olympic champion. So that's my biggest goal for sure.
Did Galen Rupp do the 10,000 in the marathon one year?
He did, yeah.
I think he got the guts.
Yeah, he did the 10 in the marathon, and usually they're pretty spread out, so you could do the double.
Yeah.
It's not common at all, but it's possible.
And if that happened for you, are you done?
I don't think I'm done, but it doesn't really get much better than that.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's got to be tough. I mean, dude, that's a bold statement, but at the same time, like, I guess in closing, man, like I would just say all in. Be able to step into any room, be able to say that. If someone asks it, you should be able to say it right away. Obviously, I'm not telling you how to live your life, but I just think that's the one thing I figured out after being an athlete for this many years. There can't be hesitation in your biggest goals. It just always needs to be front and center. Because if it isn't, in those hard moments when you're getting past in the last bit, it allows a bad idea to slip in, or like a doubt or anything. So just have the courage to say that. Dude, this has been an amazing interview. I've learned a lot. I know that you're secretly evil under the skin, and I'm going to find it eventually. But I'm very excited to see what you do from this point on. And obviously, we're going to be in touch. And is there anything you want to say in closing?
No, man, this was fun. Hopefully people followed along to some of the nerd bits with training. But like, yeah, this was a good time, man.
All right, I appreciate it.
I think if we sit down again, or maybe next time you're out here, we can hit a little run, and maybe I'll hit the gym with you.
I honestly, I came out here and I want to get burnt to the ground. Like, obviously you have such a tremendous capacity that's far above me. But as you said, like, sometimes you just need to be in the room with people that shake you up a little bit. And I've always looked up to people like you, where I'm like, eventually I'm going to get him to be able to do a workout with me, shake me up a little bit. Then I'll go to the next like place and I'll maybe lift with somebody who's a little bit stronger than me. Like, obviously I can't be on the bookends all the time. Otherwise I'll get crushed. But just to have these gut checks and also like a high water mark and be like, God, that was spooky, but I lasted for a couple intervals. Like, if you gave me like a 12 by 400, I'd do the first 3 to 4 with you. And then my hamstrings would go snap.
Yeah.
But I would have been really excited, man. But honestly, an honor to work with you. And,
yeah, thanks, brother.
We're looking forward to 2028 Olympics.
Yeah. Should be fun.
Good? All right.
Sweet.
You do?